Okay, ones that nobody likes. These adding mixtures together. Okay, so I've just taken this one from the book. They always tend to be worded the same. You're always mixing two forms of solutions. It tends to be acid solutions. It could be, sometimes I've seen butter, fat, milk percentages. What's the percentage of fat in certain? This is percentage of acid. Right, now, a chemist needs to mix 20 litres of a 40% solution. So those two go together. He's going to add some 70%. Now we don't know how much. Some. Okay, we don't know how much of this 70. We do know how much of the 40. We don't know how much of the 70. But when we do add them together, now remember, we don't add percentages. We're adding these two solutions. It's like saying it averages out to a 50% solution. It's not really an average, of course, but 40% add some 70%. We're going to end up with a 50% strength solution. Okay, but again, we don't know how much. So let's write a little table. So here we go. Now remember what it said. We had 20 litres of the 40% solution. Okay, so 20 litres of the 40% solution. We don't know how many litres of the 70% solution. Okay, but these are being added together to get a 50% solution. So when we add these two together, and we don't actually add these and get 110, okay, we're saying it's like some sort of average. It's not really, but you know, we end up with a 50% strength solution when we mix these two. But as these are proper amounts of liquid, how many litres? Well, if we do add these together, can you see you end up writing this? X plus 20. There, I've just added those two together. So remember, we don't actually add these two together. Okay, 50 is the average, kind of like what we get, okay, after adding the percentages. But genuine amounts, 20 and x, okay, 20 plus x, x plus 20, right. So that is how I can start this out, okay. Now, we have to form some sort of equation, okay, using all this information. So, I'm going to add these two here to get this down here. Right, and I always say to myself, just chant this to yourself. This comes in handy with some of the other questions. Think percentage times the amount plus percentage times the amount equals percentage times the amount. It's always percentage times the amount. What's the percentage? It's 40. We can write that as 0.4 as a decimal. There's a percentage times the amount. Okay, 20 litres. We're going to add another percentage times the amount. That's the 70%. Okay, write that as 0.7. What's this amount? We don't know. We're going to put x. Okay? So, here we go. Here's that chant again. Percentage times the amount plus percentage times the amount equals percentage, this time it's 50%. Right, that's 0.5 times the amount. Now what's the amount? Well, think about it again. Remember, we added these two together. You've just put x plus 20. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that's a lot of credit right there. You've understood how to lay out the question, how to lay out the problem, and that's great. That's a lot of credit right there. You know, I'm not saying walk away from it, but you've done a really good job. The rest is just calculating everything out. Now, you can, if you want to, leave these as decimals. You know, I mean, you can even do that with the decimal if you want to, but remember, to clear decimals, to clear one decimal place, multiply by 10. To clear two decimal places, multiply by 100. All these just have one decimal place, so I'm going to multiply everything by 10. 4 times 20. Remember, I'm just kind of clearing the decimals just to make the math a bit easier. That's the only reason why I'm doing it. Okay? 7 times the x equals 10 multiplied by 10, you get 5. Now remember, don't multiply the other, that's still x plus 20. Okay? You only multiply one of these by 10. You know, it's already part of multiplication. Okay, 4 times 20 is 80. 7x equals distributive law, 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 20 is 100. Okay. And if we just swap things around, let's oh dear, the dogs, I'm sorry, I've got a menagerie of dogs. I'm going to take away 5x from both sides. I have to record this anyway, it's nasty. Take away 5x from here. Okay. you end up with 2x. You've still got an 80. You've still got 100. Okay? Leave that there. Take away 80 from both sides. Take away 80. You've got 2x equals 20. So finally, x must equal, remember, divide both sides by the number next letter, divide both sides by 2, you get 10. And that is the answer. That's how much of the 70% solution you need.